Alrighty, traders. Alrighty. We are live. Hello, everyone. Hello. We will. I haven't even got a timer going. Let me click this timer on. Where should we start it? Let's start it right there. Let's give it a few minutes, eh? Let's do this here. There, we'll do that from there. Hey, wrong one. Keep going. Alright, we're going to do a little bit of a live stream today, guys, for you guys. And what I want to do today is I want to do something a bit different because I want to be really helping you when it comes to the art of your trading and how to become a much better trader, all in all. Some things I'm going to teach you right now, guys, have been sort of what I call the blueprint to really helping me get ahead in the markets. So if you're struggling in the markets right now, you're not sure what to do and so on and so forth, firstly, go get that free trading course, link in the description. But what I want to do in today's session is I really want to give you some key steps to really helping you master in the art of trading the markets, okay? So becoming a good trader of the markets and understanding the flows and the processes and stuff like that we're going to go through today in today's session. So that's what I want to walk you through with you today, guys. I just want to walk you through the key steps of really helping you move forward in a big way and help you become a much better trader in the markets there. Because if I can give you some simple tools, some simple processes, some simple thinking patterns to approaching these markets differently, you'll be able to start to see the highlights of where you can actually start to do much better in the markets. And that's what I want to focus on with today. And then obviously I will do a bit of a Q&A as well too at the end as well too. So that's what I want to focus on with today. Mr. Pickle, where is he? Mr. Pickle's our friend today. Canadian SK8. He's our friend today. The stock market's looking good. He's our friend today. So, stock market's looking good. So, that's what I want to share with you today, guys. Again, I just want to walk you through some simple stuff, and then of course at the end I'll go through some updates and stuff like that with you to help you move forward in a big way from there. So we're just gonna get started, guys, in obviously just have 1 minute, and then I'm gonna walk you through some simple things to help you with that. And again, I'm gonna be going backwards and forwards from a PowerPoint sort of thing that I'm gonna sort of put together. And then I'm going backwards and forwards from that to the actual chart itself as well too. So backwards and forwards. So Mr. Pickle, where is he? So what I'm about to walk you through with today, guys, again, my last sort of going on now 20 years, right? I've been trading the markets now for 19 years. And my main focus for the last 19 years is trading the markets, right? Like technical analysis, becoming a good trader of the markets. It's only been the last, say, 5 years that I've learnt the art of having sort of understandings of some simple things that I can understand anyway when it comes to long-term investing, right? Because I've never been good at that long-term stuff. I've never been that smart, like PE ratios and balance sheets and spreadsheets and cash flow statements and projective and all this. I am so confused when it comes to that sort of stuff, guys. I really am. So it bogged me down, but I could understand charts, right? I could understand some simple things when it comes down to the markets. So my main thing has always been the markets. Now I do have long-term investing positions in the markets, but to me, it's been more about just some really understanding some simple cycle analysis, and then also seeing what history is repeating itself, and then sort of position myself there from that there. But my main thing, guys, has always been a trader of the markets, and that's what I want to share with you today here. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is let me actually walk you through this here, right? So let's actually walk you through this here. So I want to talk to you about what I call the foundations. Okay, so let's actually go through to here, right? So your foundations to your trading. Now, your foundations to your trading, this is the very first step that you must be doing here, okay, guys? The very first step that you must be doing when it comes down to you becoming a good trader. Your foundations is this, all right? Your foundations, first and foremost, is this, is that before you even look at the markets, right? Before you even look at the markets, before you even trade the markets, how are you approaching the markets? Okay. Are you approaching the markets where you are basically modeling success as a trader, right? As a trader, are you modeling success? Now, what I mean by that is this, okay? So there we go, cool. All right, modeling. Have I got modeling success? All right. So let me get this right. modeling, modeling. Is that right? I think so. So anyway, modeling. Oh man, there we go. I'll get it right. So I can't spell, guys. I tell you, lucky for spell check. Anyway, give me a chart. I can read it. So anyway, modeling success as a trader, right? As a trader. Now, the big, what I'm trying to say here, guys, is that as you approach the markets, are you about to enter the market based off like some sort of proven system or proven approach to the markets, or are you approaching it based off? So we do this here, right? So most traders, and this is where most traders go wrong, is that they have this modeling success, and what they end up doing is there's two different types of patterns here, two different types of things that are going on here. Okay, so the first thing what they do, so the first thing that what most traders do, and this is what most traders actually do, is that they'll go down to here, and then what they do is they go, this is happening, so this should happen in the markets, so this is my trade, right? So this is my trade. This is happening, so this should happen in the market, so this is my trade. This is my thoughts. This is what they think, right? This is a big thing, guys. I'm telling you, like, again, guys, what I'm talking about here is the art of trading the market successfully, right? Trading the markets. If you want to become a good trader of the market successfully, this is what most people do. So they're going to enter the market based off their thoughts, not based off some factual evidence that they have behind them of what they're doing. And so that's what they do, right? That's how they trade the markets. It's like, well, the GDP report, especially like right now, if I use right now as an example, right? GDP report is bad. Interest rates are still going up. Recession's coming. So therefore, the market should go down. That's what they're thinking, right? They're thinking the market should go down. But hang on a minute. Is that actually based off factual evidence? Because again, let's actually back that up, right? What is your thoughts and your opinions right now? Are they backed up by actual statistical evidence that yes, this is what happens? Or is it just based off what you think? Because you think that bad GDP report is going to send the market lower. It may send the market lower overall. But who says it's not going to go up for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks and then maybe go down? Right? So remember, guys, this is based on what? Trading the markets, becoming a good trader of the markets. So they do that, and then they're basing this they're getting into the market based off a thought or what they think should happen, because our brain says bad economic news equals stock market crash. That's what our brain says. But if you know anything about the actual market, the market is always opposite to what you think. When there's really, really, really bad news out of the markets, banks are collapsing, everything's out of control, guess what? You're actually probably near the bottom of the markets. So if we go look at, if what I'm saying right here, right now, and again, this is where most people who enter the market for a few years, they get blown out of the markets. And I did this myself too, right? They get blown out of the markets because they think this sort of stuff is like that, right? So if I go back and I'll have a look at the whole Lehman Brothers, the whole Lehman Brothers collapse. Let's go to the S&P 500. Let's go to the weekly charts. Right, so if we have a look at when the Lehman Brothers actually collapsed, right? When was that, right? The Lehman, that the whole banking collapse in 2008 was right here, right? Look at this here for the here. So this was September, October. So through this period through here, guess what? We started having all these bank failures, right? And this is when the SHIT really started to hit the fan. Now, most people think, oh my goodness, the world's over. The market's going to keep demolishing down. The market's going to keep dropping down. That's it. The market's going to crash even more. Right? So that's actually what people think. Right? Again, this is where trading of the market is not based off what you think. Because what most people think is really, really bad is probably a good buying opportunity. Because look at this here. If you held on to it for 2 or 3 or 4 years, this time here when everything was really bad, 2, 3, 4 years later, started to see the market have an increase of 80+% over a 2, 3, 4 year period. But that was actually a really good buying opportunity when everything was really bad. So people are, what people do is that's what they think there, right? So this is actually wrong, right? This is actually the wrong way. The wrong way we should be thinking about our trades. Let's go to here, right? This is the wrong way that we should be thinking about our trades, because most of the time what we actually think logically, right? Because we're trying to think logically about, well, bad economic news equals success, equals that this happening in the markets. So right now, as we speak, we're hearing all these GDP reports, et cetera, right? But and the bank failures and so on and so forth, all this bad stuff that's been happening over the last couple of months, yet what has the stock market actually been doing for the last few months? Let's look at the last 3 months. The last 3 months, we're actually in a very big, strong upward movement through here. Hang on a minute. We've had all these bank failures happening right now, inflation and bad GDP numbers and blah, blah, blah. But the stock market goes up. Again, it doesn't make sense to the uneducated eye, but it makes sense to the educated eye, right? Because the market bottoms are born out of maximum negativity and pessimism, right? Just like with the COVID days. If you think about the COVID days, when did the lockdowns actually start to happen? The lockdowns started to happen around about here, right? So that's when people think, oh my goodness, complete lockdowns, the whole world's gone to lockdown, that's it, it's all over, the stock market's going to crash, right? Really bad news. But hang on a minute, that really bad news was what? An incredible buying opportunity. Because as you can see, once again, look what happened. We started to see an increase in the markets there. By the way, I actually bought call options on the SPY at this time. And then for the next 12 months, I had a very nice return out of it. So this is always a really, really, really big thing in the markets that people, again, going back to being a trader of the markets and why this is the wrong thinking. I'll give you another example here. So if we look at Netflix, okay? If we look at Netflix, and my whole idea, guys, is that to show you that sometimes our thinking around our trading is completely wrong, and it's not backed up by evidence of this is how we actually do get ahead in the markets. We're not modeling success, we're just modeling what we think based off a YouTube video. Remember, guys, YouTube is not the proper way to go when it comes to trading the market successfully. Okay? Just remember that. So if we have a look at Netflix, why did Netflix, look at this here. Why did Netflix have this big drop down through here, right? Worst earnings report ever. Oh my goodness, that's so bad. It was dropping revenue. It was dropping subscriptions. It was dropping income. It was a drop, right? Oh my goodness, so bad. But hang on a minute. So bad equaled a pretty good buying opportunity, right? Equaled a good buying opportunity. Oh, I can't answer you right now. You should have answered my phone call before. One of my girlfriends is calling me right now. So as you can see, right, and then look what's been happening ever since. We've actually had a 70+% increase ever since what? The whole bad news came out. Let's go look at Meta. Look at this here. Meta. Why did Meta gap down here? Same thing. Let's actually do this here. Let's actually take this off. Why did it gap down here? Oh my goodness, Mark Zuckerberg lost all this money. It was so bad. It was, right? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? We are so bad, so bad, so bad, so bad, so bad. But look what ended up happening. It was, he lost $100 billion trying to build the metaverse, and it was a mistake, and he's doing all these layoffs, and the revenue from the advertising and dropped. It's so bad. But yet, you're up 145% since that there. So I am giving you factual evidence that when things seem to be really, really bad for an individual stock. Now, I'm not saying this, you don't just go do this from every single stock out there, guys, right? But I'm showing you factual evidence that sometimes our thinking, and if you think that bad numbers out there, like right now we had a bad GDP report, I think it was. I know I didn't actually check the report. I just heard some people talk about it. I'm like, okay, cool. It was a bad number, right? So we see that, right? We see that. But as you can see, and what I'm doing here, guys, I'm actually not just saying, oh, that's wrong thinking. I'm saying, let me show you some examples this last 6 months, 6 to 12 months of why that has been the wrong thinking in the markets and why what we think is actually wrong in the market. So our thinking about the markets, right? Right, our thinking about the markets is what? Is wrong. And so if you actually want to become a good investor of the markets, I know I'm talking about trading the markets, right? Trading successfully with the markets itself. But the whole thing is, if you want to become a good investor, right? This is where investing in the markets is all about identifying these opportunities where things are really, really, really bad, right? That's when you want to be getting involved in the markets. So that's the first thing I do say there is that most people think that these bad news right now is actually equal to the stock market going. So therefore, again, that's why most people are short. I even talked to someone, you probably heard the live stream I did yesterday, where most people were saying that the stock market is going to go down. Right? And so, that's basically what they talked about there. So then what we have over here is, and this is where it comes down to trading the markets, again, modeling success. Right? Modeling success in the markets. What do traders, a trader of the market, what do they do? Right? A trader of the market, they enter in the market based off simple patterns, right? Patterns. Or for me personally, it's one powerful pattern. Right? One powerful pattern. It's based off one powerful pattern only. That's what I truly believe in. Now, my system that I trade gets over a 90% success rate, and it does really, really well. So it's one powerful pattern. What exactly are you actually going to do to trade the markets? Right? Because if you are going to trade the markets, and remember, trading the markets, trading is all about technical analysis, because you're getting in and you're getting out on a pretty short-term basis. It's all about technical analysis. So if we're going to model success as a trader, and so for me personally, when I lost $250,000 in trading the markets, I had no idea what I was actually doing. Right? I was all over the place. I was probably doing what most of you guys are doing right now. And so what ended up happening was I actually went to my mentor and he's like, no wonder you're not successful. He said, the reason why I'm a 7-figure trader, he said, because I just focus on one thing and become so good at that one thing. And he goes, it's just this one system. And I've become good. I've become, really, really, really good at this one system. And I do really well out of it. So that's basically what he was saying through there. And then when I started to really simplify my process and say, okay, cool. I'm not going to the market to place a trade based off this here. Right? I'm not doing it based off this here. Because if I do, then I can't repeat that process. Right? Because I want a predictable and repeating process that I can follow throughout the year, that I know at the end of every year, I can have a really good year. I want that so I can live off that for the rest of my life. Because if I trade based off what we just talked about just a minute ago, that I can't repeat that process, right? Like, what is that? What do we really want when we're trading the markets? We want income, right? We want a predictable income coming through. Now, predictable income, and this is another thing here, guys, predictable income means you understand the flow, right? There is a flow to your success in the markets. Right? There is a flow. And the flow is this. You have your one powerful pattern, but then you understand months up and down in trades. I'm not talking about, like for me personally, guys, I hate taking losses. I hate taking losses. So that's the reason why I only wait for the best of the best trades. But this here now one powerful pattern, okay, that when it produces, it has a high probability of producing an income. But then you also understand the flow of your trading throughout the year. And what is that? The flow of your trading throughout the year is what? Is that you understand that that's not about making money every day. It's not about making money every week, right? Because if you do that, you're going to set yourself up for over trading, right? It's making money every year. We've got to look at it a yearly process. Why? Because some months are going to be up with the amount of good trades that you actually get when it comes to your one system. And some months are going to be down as in the amount of trades that you have. Right? So you could, if you're trading, say, a daily charts where you're getting in today and you're holding for a couple of days or maybe for a few weeks and you're trading one system out there, then you might have to wait. You might have to wait sometimes a couple of weeks, maybe longer. Like I've had to wait sometimes 6 weeks for a really good trade. But I can't enter the markets based off this over here. I have to enter the market based off his here. So I have this here, and then I understand that there's a flow to my success in the markets. The flow is that I'm only going to trade this. And that means if I have to wait a whole week, a whole month sometimes for that one really good trade to appear, that's actually the flow and the progress of trading the markets, right? That's actually the flow through there. So this is the big thing that really sort of shook me up is my thinking, the way I was thinking here was wrong. Because again, let's just say you are right. You get lucky and you pick it right one time. Okay, now do that for the rest of your life where you can feel confident leaving your job. Oh, what? You can't do that? Okay, cool. So now you're spending all your time building what? No foundation. This one here is a no foundation to your success. What we want a foundation to your success. What is the foundation to your success? Is that we can spend our time and our weeks and our months building up the foundation of having one simple, powerful system that we can rely on every year to produce an income. So I have one simple system that I trade. And again, guys, if you want to know that, go to johnsfreegift.com. I actually teach you in the trading course. I teach you it. I teach you for free. So, but it's not that difficult, right? It really is not that difficult. And by the way, guys, this is how I trade. This is how I trade the markets, right? Just like this. One moving average. And I get over a 90% success rate, right? Most of the time, I'm not even using the moving average. It's just the chart itself. Okay? But again, guys, I'm trying to teach you, like, if you actually want to model success, I'm trying to show you what's taken me 19 years. Now, you can be egotistical and say you have no idea, John, you have no idea what you're talking about. Or you can maybe start to learn some things I'm teaching you for free here and say maybe I'm thinking about this the wrong way. Maybe I'm approaching this the wrong way. Because if you actually, in 12 months time frame, if you actually want to be getting so much better than you are right now and not have every year be the same year for you, well, let's actually work on that foundations, right? Let's actually work on that foundations of you actually getting better each year. So you can just keep ignoring the reality, but most traders, and including myself for my first 5+ years, every year was the same year. It was called a whole bunch of pile of SHIT. Going backwards every time, right? Just never getting it. Why? Because my foundation was way out of whack. What was my foundations? My foundation is what exactly am I after that goes into a good setup? That's your first thing. So if I'm going to the markets and I don't even know what I'm looking for, I'm just looking for anything, you don't have any strong, solid foundation. Because if you do have this one powerful pattern, that works most of the time. You're going to have your losses, right? Nothing works 100%, and you must understand that. If you have a trade that loses money, then it doesn't mean it was a bad trade, right? But it's all about approaching the markets with one powerful pattern here. And so what happens is that each year that goes past, guess what? You get better and better and better and better and better and better and better at trading. There we go, right? At trading this one system, right? Because you start to find the nuances, you start to build the foundation, you start to see that there's the small, finer details within the system, within the pattern that produces really good income, right? So for me personally, that we have the pattern, but then we also have the pattern where it is at the time in the overall big picture of the markets, that I know that when it sets up, it could produce multiple 100% return, potentially 500 to 1,000% return, say using options on a trade. And I know that sounds crazy, guys, but that's just this pattern that forms. And it forms probably a good 15, 20 times a year. There's actually 2 or 3 setups that are happening right now. I'm just waiting for an entry point. And it's probably going to be at least a few 100% return on the option, if not a lot more, because it has the potential of making that big move. But do you actually know what that looks like? If you're spending year after year after year not really building and getting better and better and better and better at one system, well, guess what? Of course you're not going to do that, right? Of course you're not. Of course you're not building your foundations to eventually get to a solid point there. And so year after year after year, you end up going backwards. But then also understand, as I said before, also understanding that this point through here is some months you're going to have some. Again, this is if you're trading at daily charts, okay, guys. For me personally, I like to trade the daily charts on the stock market. So there's going to be some weeks where there's not going to be trade. Now, if you're reverting the same sort of trading, but looking at, say, 1-minute charts, 5-minute charts, 15-minute charts, like I do on the futures markets, right? And then some of my clients do on the stock market on the 15-minute charts, you're likely to get probably, depending on what type of system you're trading, right? You're likely to get maybe a couple of good trades per week. Now, here's one thing you must understand as well too. The lower the win-loss ratio, the lower the win-loss ratio within your system that you use, right? The lower the win-loss ratio within your system that you use, the more trade you're going to have and the more losses you can have in a row. So if you have a system that gives you, say, a 60% win-loss ratio and you're having a lot of trades, well, guess what? You can actually have 4 or 5. Oh, this girl's blowing up my phone right now. Right? You can have 4 or 5 trades losing in a row and it actually be normal of that type of system. I'm going to say that again. Right? I'm going to say that again. If you are trading a system and you're trading it 100% of the time, which most of the time that's actually probably one of the biggest problems for you guys, is even if you do have a good quality system, right? Even if you do have a good quality system, you're not sticking to it 100% of the time. But let's just say you are doing that. Right? You have some discipline and you're trading a system that gives you a 60% win-loss ratio. Call it 65%, even 70%. 70% win-loss ratio, that means there's going to be times where you could have 2 or 3, sometimes even 4 losing trades in a row and it be normal part of the process of that type of approach. Because it's just the way it is, right? So you must understand that that's the nature of the system because there's a lot more trades with a lower win-loss ratio system. That's like with me personally, because I have a system that gives me over a 90% success rate. Actually, this year I'm having about a 95% success rate. right? For me personally, guys, if you look at it, I've had just over 20 trades and I've had 2 or 3 losses, right? And they're all been small. That's for me personally. It's like 20 something trades and 2 or 3 losses. So the purpose of me saying that is that for me personally, the higher the win-loss ratio system, the less trades you're going to get, but the less losses you're also going to have as well too, because it's a high win-loss ratio system. So the lower the win-loss ratio, the more trades and the more losses in a row you can actually have at certain times in the markets, because there's a lot more trading that way. See, some of you guys don't understand that. Somebody's like, well, John, this is supposed to be a successful trading system. Yeah, it has a 60% win-loss ratio. It is successful in the big picture of looking at 20 or 30 trades. But sometimes you're going to go through these periods of having that. And that's the reason why, for me personally, I only trade a system that gives me a high win-loss ratio, and I'm happy sitting on the sidelines. Because just remember, guys, you don't need a lot of good trades, right? You don't need a lot of good trades for you to do really well. Look at this here. Look at this here. What is this? This is 7 doubles to $100,000, right? So what I'm talking about here is this, is that if you look at this point through here, if you had a few $1,000s in your trading account and your very first trade was $1,000, right? Let's say you're using options. And this is a big thing, guys, okay? You're using options, right? And you're doing this here. Say your very first trade is $1,000, and out of that $1,000, the way that I like to trade options is I'm probably risking 20 to 30% on that option. On average, that's what my loss is on an option, right? So if I'm doing $1,000 trade and I know the type of setups that's likely to produce at least 100%, again, like there's setups out there that I know that are likely to produce multiple hundreds of percent return on the trade, sometimes 400 or 500% return. There are setups out there that produce that most of the time. Sometimes you get losses and it's not 100%. But if you know what that setup is and you only just wait for that setup and you did $1,000 trade and you only got 100%, where, by the way, guys, I think I've had 2 or 3 of those trades this year so far. And my last 2 trades of doing that type of trades where it had a really big move, guess what? Collectively out of the 2 trades, we did close to 450 to 500% return. So what I'm saying here is this, is that when I say $1,000, you're really risking 20 to 30% of that to look for a double, which is 100% return. Again, using options, which is really, really simple. You're doing that, right? And you take that 1 of the 2 and you make 100%, right? Then you go look for another trade. And say it takes you another 4 weeks to find the next trade. Boom. You put $2,000 down because you just made 2. Now you're risking what? 20 to 30% of that to look for the next double. And then you find the double. And again, guys, sometimes you're not going to turn 2 in the 4. Sometimes you're going to turn 2 in the 8. Because again, if you understand what you're looking for there. And let's just say it takes you another 6 weeks to find the next trade. 4 in the 8. And let's just say it takes you another 3 weeks to find the next trade. And let's just say it takes you 2 months to find the next trade. And let's just say it takes you another 1 month to find the next trade. And let's just say it takes you 2 weeks to find the next trade. So let's just say your entire year only had 7 trades. Right? Now again, I must reiterate this, guys. There are setups out there that produce 100% return with options. If you guys trade options, you know 100% return can be quite easy with just a short-term move. Right? So, but it's all about understanding what is the system, what is the approach. So for me personally, what I teach my private clients is exactly what they are, right? Exactly what are those setups, what I call long-term trades that are likely to have really big moves in the markets. And this is how it is. This is how you can, if you have the right system. And now, guys, this is a blatant statement. This is about you having no losses. Of course, you're going to have some losses in here, right? No system is foolproof. But this is just a bit of a blueprint, bit of a template to say, what if you only had 10 trades? What if it took you 10 trades to do, starting with $1,000 trade? Maybe you had $2,000 or $3,000 in account and you're starting with $1,000 because you knew exactly what you're looking for and you're trading the same system day in, day out. See, what most people are doing, right? They're trying to trade what? They're trying to trade so much to make a lot of money. Big mistake. Big mistake, right? Because I guarantee you most of you traders who are trying to trade a lot and everything that moves, guess what? You're probably not doing really well. But let's actually step that back to a high probability system. Say, what if we only had 10 really good high quality trades for the entire year? Well, there's actually a high probability, especially if some of those trades end up running from 2 or 3 or 400% return, that with only 10 good trades this year, I could actually turn my few $1,000 trading account into 6 figures. Right? And then if I'm looking at big, let's just say it takes you, say, 2 or so years. Now you keep doubling it. You're only 10 doubles to $1 million. But let's just say it takes you 20 trades, right? Because you have some losses in there. Some trades don't quite do the 100% return, right? Some trades actually do 3, 4, 500% return. Last year, I had 2 trades that did over 1,000% return using the exact same blueprint, right? It's the exact same setup. The exact same setup that I took last year that made over 1,000% return was the trades that we did this year that did close to 500% return. It's the exact same thing, right? It's the exact same. It's not about me guessing like, oh, I guess, because no. So the nature of wanting to trade a lot and have a lot of positions is actually killing you, right? You think a lot more trades equal a lot more money. That's the thing that's actually killing you from actually moving forward. And if you eventually want to become $1 million trader, your foundations is what? Let's go back to this here. Your foundations is what? This here. What system are you consistently trading that you know has a high probability every single day? And understanding that there is going to be ups and downs in the amount of trade you have. But you remember, guys, we don't need a lot of good trades for us to do really, really well in the markets. Right? We don't need a lot of good trades. Again, I'll go back to this level through here. What if you're only 10 really good, high quality trades to making 6 figures in the markets? And let's just say that, again, that took you a whole 12 months to do. Or, you know what? Let's just say, you know, you're making maybe $30,000, $40,000 from your job, but you spent a good 2 or 3 months or maybe longer. It maybe even took, let's just say it took you 6 months. Is 6 months of really working hard on one system to become so confident that you know exactly what you're looking for in a really high quality setup. If you know there's a massive probability that that thing could turn into 6 figures and 7 figures in the next 3 or 4 years, and the answer is yes. Right? Well, let's just say you're working a job $40,000, $50,000 a year, but you worked hard initially 2 or 3 or 4 months to really understand what you're looking for, and then you work hard on your discipline. That a few $1,000 trading account could potentially turn into 6 figures in a year or 2. And then we can go to $1 million from there. So traders, this is a big thing, right? This is a big thing when most traders go wrong in the markets. And it was a big thing that I had to understand myself. Is that I'm thinking all this, more. Oh, GDP report, bad, short the market. And we're trying to make that really big home run in one trade. Right? Really big home run. I'm trying to turn my $1,000 into $1 million in one trade. Let's just step it back. Let's not rush it. And by doing that, we start to see these amazing trades. And within the next year, next 2 years, and again, this is what I teach within my coaching program. If you want to know more information about that, then go get access to that. I got one spot for that Super Trader Formula. That link in the description there, guys. Go click on that. Get access to the Super Trader Formula. And then you can actually book a call with me, and then I'll personally speak to you to see if you're... I'll actually walk you through the Super Trader Formula as well too, and I'll be happy to talk to you more about the coaching program on the actual call itself. But the purpose of this, guys, is that what are you modeling? See, this is where my trading completely changed, because I didn't have a model. My model when I first started trading that lost me $250,000 was this guy over here. Thinking. And again, my thinking wasn't backed up by anything. It was backed up by my ego, because I wanted to be right in the market. And so from this process, guys, here are the key steps you must follow in order to understand, right? So, is the pattern just a double top or triple bottom with a spring? Denny, my man, stop being a lazy ass. Get your access to my free trading course, and you'll be able to see the pattern that I use. So no, it's not a double top or double bottom with a spring. No, seems to be the only reliable thing out there these days. Really, Denny? Okay. Well, Denny, this is where again I want you to question your thinking there, right? I've had over 20 trades this year, 2 or 3 losses in the markets. We're having incredible success. Last week we had 2 trades. One was just above break even because it was time to get out of that one, and then we had another one that gave us an 80% return on our risk, trading the exact same thing, right? So Yeah, I wouldn't say that, Denny. No. Actually, double tops and double bottoms are not reliable these days. Right, they're not that reliable. Thomas, good evening, my man. Good evening. Right, guys. So again, guys, it's all about pattern recognition because we look at these markets, right? We look at all these stocks. Look at Meta. We could look at, Netflix. We could look at, say, McDonald's and so on and so forth. Look at all these different stocks. But again, when we go to these markets, what are we actually looking for? What are we actually looking for? Because if you go into the market just looking for anything, you're going to find anything that has no probability, no foundations, and nothing's going to keep moving up, right? It's just not going to happen. But once I understood my job is my foundation is exactly what does a high quality setup look like? What does it actually look like? That's my foundations. Then once I know exactly what I'm looking for, I go to the market to find it. Big difference. Most people just say, right, I'm opening up my charts. And I'm going to try and, this is actually breaking through resistance. Let's go. Ooh. Oh, you know what? The indicators, the stochastics. Stochastics are oversold. Let's go short. But, right? Now, one thing I do say, guys, is that the very first thing I do say, guys, is that the trend is your friend until the end, right? Let me just, right? The trend is your friend until the end. And so when I say that, right, it's important to, I believe the most successful trades are going to be with the trend, right? With the trend. So what I mean by that is that if you have a look at, say Microsoft as an example, right, what do we have here? Right, and we can see here that if we do this, look at this here. We have a high, lower high, and a lower high, and a lower high, right? So I believe, and as you can see, as this market was coming down, where were the most highest probability and the best probability of having a much better return was with the trend, right? With the market, right? There to there. That was it right there. Right? It was actually with that downward, let's actually do this one right here, right? It was with the downward move. It was with the trend. It was with the trend. But then guess what happened, right? We started to what? We started to stop and we started to change the tune, didn't we? Now we're making higher lows and higher lows. Where has been now the biggest, best moves since the trend has changed? And if we look at the daily charts here, to show you a bit more an example here, you can see now the trend has changed. It has been the best moves and highest probability moves have been up and have been up. Why? Because now we're creating higher lows and higher lows. The market has changed the tune. So now we're going with the trend. So if you want to not only have a good high probability of jumping on a good trade, but having the best chances of jumping on a trade that's likely to make a good move, then you go with the trend. So many traders out there are, guess what? So many traders out there are trying to capture on these counter moves from here. Right? So these counter moves from here. They're trying to capture these small little counter moves and it's just, it never, ever, ever works out. I'm using this as an example here, right? They're trying to capture these counter moves. But look how small they are compared to the big move up. They're trying to capture the counter moves. And then the trend starts to change. Right? And then guess what? Then the trend starts to change. They're trying to get into here, right? They're trying to get into these small little bits through here. But look what's happening. Right? Make a higher lows all the way up. And then away we go again. So that's where, guys, what is the trend? And let's trade with the trend. What is the trend? Let's trade with the trend. That should be at least your foundations through there, okay? Your absolute foundations from there for you actually doing really well in the markets. And that's where, guys, it's like, what are you modeling? For me personally, guys, it's like, I bet again, guys. I bet my main focus in the trading these markets has been a technical trader. How do I actually trade the market successfully? Not long-term investing. No, I do now have a good understanding of some long-term investing approaches that I do, and I believe and I know that I'm going to kick ass that way. But that's what it's all about, guys. Right now, again, guys, that's the reason why this rule here, this trend analysis rule, is the very first. It's the first rule out of 4, possibly even 5 rules that I have to find the best quality trades that I'm looking for. My biggest challenge is not feeling comfortable making a move, even having a 6-figure account. I make very small trades, very few $1,000s USD, and still feeling unwell. For sure, returns are also small. Exactly right, Thomas. And the reason why is because you have no confidence in your system. And the reason why is because you're not trading the same thing day in, day out, right? That's the reason why you're not doing. That's the reason why you're not feeling confident. You're trading, a few $1,000s per trade with a 6-figure account. You should be happy doing $10,000 or $20,000 a trade, especially with a high win-loss ratio system. Now, why aren't you? Because you're every day you are not building confidence towards a really good success move through there, right? You have no foundation, and so 1 month from now, 2 months from now, 3 months from now, you are not getting any more confident because you're not getting really good at one thing. And the more we focus on one thing, the more we get really, really good at one thing, like one system, one approach, and we get better and better and better and better at that, then your confidence starts to go up because then you start to recognize the patterns that are likely to do really well. And with that, that's when things start to do really well from you. But again, it takes time, right? But most people, they spend the last 3 months focusing on 50 different things. No wonder you're not making big progress, right? I'll give you an example here. So I listened to a guy called Alex Mandossian. Alex Mandossian? I think it was, yeah. Really $100 million CEO, so, company owner, blah, 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 right? Really successful person. And he's like, he said, for a company, what is it that makes them 6 figures? Starting out of the gate, starting a brand new business, what is it that makes you 6 figures in the markets? And he goes, just find what people want and find a system, a marketing system, and an approach to be able to deliver that, to be able to sell that to them. And then you want to figure that out, and then you can start to make 6 figures from that, right? And then the interviewer said to him, now what is the thing that's going to make him 7 figures? He said, once you figure that out, what that thing is, just do that, but only do that, and then you keep doing it, keep doing the same thing every day, the same marketing approach, the same sales approach. The same delivery approach, the same. And if you stay on the same thing, one, you're going to continue to get better with that thing because you're going to find the nuances, better marketing approaches, better sales approaches, so on and so forth. And from that, you're going to turn into then from that, if you just keep doing the same thing, really focus on one really amazing approach, then eventually you're going to turn that 0 business into 6 figures. And if you just keep doing it, you just keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're going to eventually get to 7 figures. And the interviewer was like, and so it's not like doing 3 or 4 different things. Like, no. Same thing for me, guys, right? When I first started learning from my mentor who makes millions of dollars a year, and I talk about millions of dollars a year, in the last probably 5 weeks, guys, he's made about $400,000 in the markets. Private successful trader that I go to, that I see, right? And the market's been really quiet, and he's made all this money, right? But what does he do? He trades one thing and one thing only. And now he has done now for 30 plus years. Right? And then that's where I learned for myself is that it's not about trading 1,000 different approaches or 50 different approaches and this. Like, no, my job is to find one powerful system and understand that it's over the months and over the years that I continue to get better and better and better and better and better and better, that I build momentum. And then suddenly 3 months from now, 6 months from now, it's like, boom, I'm actually, here's the confidence. By focusing on one thing, because you guys know, right? You don't get really, really, really good at something if you're not focusing on it every day. If you're focusing on 50 different things, this week I'm going to focus on the GDXJ report. Next week I'm going to focus on the inflation. And next week I'm going to focus on interest rates. And you're focusing on all these different things. You're not building any foundation. You're not building any momentum behind you. And then guess what happens? You spend 6 months, 12 months running around like a dog's trying to bite his own tail. Ruff, right? And you wonder, like, why can't I get ahead? Because your thinking is wrong. You're thinking, I need to trade based off the fundamental news, which is the wrong thinking anyway. Because really bad actually generally means a good buying opportunity. And so, guys, I want you to do so well out of the markets. My whole goal, guys, out of doing this session for you today, right? My whole goal is that I want you to do really, really well. And I'm telling you right now, all the dumbass mistakes that I've made. In fact, in that free trading course, guys, this johnsfreegift.com, in that trading course that I send you, the very first video is I teach you the top 13 mistakes that I've made. And you're probably making them right now. And I'm trying to show you guys what has taken me 19 years to figure it out, this game called trading. How do I trade the market so throughout the year I can have a good income and repeat that for the rest of my life that I can rely on, right? And what is that process? And what I mean by a good income, guys, and what I said before, remember I said before here, I must reiterate this. Remember I said before, months up and down, not income, right? But some months you're going to be really active and there's going to be a lot of good trades, and some months it's going to be pretty quiet. That's what I mean by regular income. It's like throughout the year. What happens throughout the year, right? And so that's my whole goal, guys. I really want you to do really well, and the sleepless nights of me blowing up trading accounts and not making any progress and having year after year after year the same process and the same approach and the same thinking, it just didn't do well for me at all. It really, really, really didn't do well for me at all. And I'm trying to show you guys, here are some of the key points that I was not doing, and therefore I was no longer to the finish line. And as I said before, guys, if you spend the next 12 months focusing on one powerful system, and if it's my stuff, guys, and you believe in what I say, then I teach you my trading system for free. Go get access to that super trader formula, and you book a call with me, and then I'll be able to help you out even more, with a free call from there. That johnsstf.com in the link in the description, right? You'll be able to actually see these things. And remember, once I start to understand that it's not about, I'm not looking for a lot of trades. I'm not looking for 100 trades, right? Because I spoke to a guy recently. He said, this year I've had over 100 trades and he's kind of break even. And then I told him my results this year by having only 20 trades, or just over 20 trades in total. Now 20 trades in total, he's like, oh my goodness, right? As there's the way we are thinking in the markets is actually completely wrong from there. So that's fair enough, man. Thanks for your honest one. I appreciate it. Yes, John, you are right. I have quit my job, so focus on 8 to 10 hours of trading and learning. I dropped the news, a couple of GDP, Fed, etc. Now focusing on charts and trends. Sometimes I just watch for days. Remember, Thomas, you can watch it for 10 or 8 hours, but I have to ask you, Thomas, do you actually have the pattern in your mind that you're looking for to trade? What is that one powerful pattern that you're looking for in the markets? And if you have that, good. But if you're just looking for anything, I'm just looking at charts and I'm going to look at trends and I'm going to draw trend lines and I'm just looking for a good time that you think is a good idea, you're still on the back foot. You need to have, what is that pattern? What is that setup look like? What does it actually look like? And then you go find it, right? Then you go find it. Because I know for myself, if I have a powerful pattern and I only go trade that, I'm going to have a successful year. I'm going to have a successful trading career. But if I'm just looking at any charts and I'm like, oh, here's the trend line here, there's some trend lines here, maybe I should buy it here, maybe I shouldn't, no, right? For me personally, Thomas, it's about, when it comes to my trading setup, it's about what does the chart pattern look like? And for me personally, it also comes back down to what is the entry bar that I'm looking for on that setup. But again, it's the same thing, right? It's the same thing day in, day out, same thing day out. The setup and the entry bar, the setup and the entry bar. So there is no should I be in now? Should I be out now? I'm not sure. For me, no, it's black and white. Here's the setup, and now I'm looking for this entry bar. Like, for example, right now. Right now, there's probably 3 or 4 really good, high-quality setups on the charts. I'm now just looking for the right entry bar to meet my system for me to get into these trades. And there are going to be some really, really, really good trading opportunities from there. So anyway, guys, I'm going to give my girl a call back, or one of my girlfriends anyway. She's not really my girl. She's just a girlfriend. I'm doing that there. But I really wanted to do this for you guys today because I really want to help you guys and show you that what's really important in these markets and to really help you move forward. So anyway, guys, have a great weekend moving forward, and I'll catch you probably tomorrow with another market update. See you guys.